much. Happening today, senior leadership at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs will be in Memphis to tour local VA medical facilities and meet with veterans.
Jan Murphy is coming at the invitation of Congressman Steve Cohen, who joins us, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Let's start with the VA. Memphis, not the worst, but certainly not the best. What needs to happen?
Well, the emergency room was the area we needed improvement, and I believe all 4 recommendations have been met, and the emergency room's up to snuff. But I want to find out for sure. Dr. Murphy is the acting director for health and issues at the VA, and I'd hoped Shinseki would come, but of course he's gone.
Right.
And so acting director Murphy's coming, and Mr. Patrick from Nashville will be with us, and Dr. Knight. So we're going to talk about the conditions as try to assure the veterans of what's going on and what will go on, and also tour the hospital. So we'll have a town hall at 11.
But folks can come out to ask their questions, air their concerns.
They should have RSVP'd to our office because it's limited space, and we've already got, I think, 50 overflows.
Okay.
But there'll be a lot of people there to ask questions, and then and I think that we're at 10:30 at the Benjamin Hooks Library, and then we're going to have some conversation, and then we're going to go tour the hospital.
And Congressman, being able to secure the senior leadership with the VA and having them here, do you feel confident that they can actually make a difference? Because nationwide, obviously, as you know, we've been hearing so many horror stories about the mistreatment of our vets.
Well, I think we've heard a lot of bad things because of certain VAs where they lied about their numbers and how long it's taken to get an appointment. The appointments, it does take too long to get an appointment everywhere, but they shouldn't be lying. We need more health personnel, and that's going to cost money. The Senate bill has money in it. I hope the House will pass the Senate bill. I think we should. We usually work bipartisan on VA issues and get the monies out there to have more clinics and more health personnel so that the scheduling time can be brought forward. And if they can't meet the 30-day schedule, to allow them to go to private facilities. I'm asking the acting director to give us assurances of those things. Of course, Congress has to act and pass those bills. But I'm hoping Memphis gets a little extra because she's come down here and she'll see it and know what's going on with the Memphis VA. The Memphis VA I just saw was built, I think it was 50 years ago. But you hear a lot of good stories about the VA, too. There are a lot of people who've contacted me and written letters to the editor that they get great care at the VA. It's just the overwhelming numbers of Vietnam vets who are getting into their 60s and 70s, and then new people, 2 million from Iraq and Afghanistan, and this has just overflowed the system.
And speaking of Iraq, Colin Powell famously said, if you break it, you own it. What is the situation there? ISIS seems to be taking over. Is President Obama handling this correctly, or do we need to be more proactive and get in?
Well, I believe that we will probably see airstrikes in the future. I think we're setting the basis for that. ISIS is very powerful. They've got a lot of weapons that we gave the Iraqis that they now have. I was with the Turkish ambassador this week. He said there are Humvees in Syria. They've come from the ISIS, taking them from the Iraqis and taking them to Syria. They want to set up a caliphate from Syria through Iraq and further if they could, and have an Islamic empire. And that's been the desire of Al-Qaeda, and now it is ISIS for years, and that's been the concern of the United States. This type of empire would be dangerous to our values and to our security.
But Congressman, do we need, as the U.S., to put more boots on the ground there?
Right.
I don't think we're going to put boots on the ground. I think that President Obama's been there, the American people have been there. But airstrikes can be very, very effective. The 300 advisors we have going in can support the military, which needs a lot of support. I mean, they're doing a terrible job. It's looking more and more like Vice President Biden, when he was somewhat ridiculed, was right, that maybe they should have divided the country in 3 parts, Sunni, Shia, and Kurd. That might have been the better idea if it could have been done. But it's really a problem. Next Monday, I want to mention we've got a federal procurement program. It's our 5th annual federal procurement program at the University of Memphis. It's at 9 o'clock to 12:30. People want to learn, small businesses, minorities, how to do business with the federal government, how to get contracts, who to contact. Come to the FedEx Tech Institute next Monday.
There's on the screen. We also need, they need to RSVP by ASAP. Is it filling up?
Today, yeah, Friday. It comes up Monday. Yeah, we fill the place up.
Okay.
All right. You have that issue. Another issue that's really on a lot of people's mind, involving the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, this latest scandal. What's going on there?
You know, the IRS did not spy on right-wing groups' records. They looked at all groups that had 501c3 exemptions and looked to see if they were properly reporting.
But Congressman, a lot of people are going to say all of the missing emails, all of a sudden, it looks for a lot of people very suspicious. Do you not agree with that?
Well, it does look a little bit like Rosemary Woods, and that's never a good thing to look like Rosemary Woods.
Boy, that's taking it back a few years.
Well, we want to get the older crowd. They understand.
I think you just got it.
I mean, that's practically the dead crowd. The 18-minute, was it 18-minute gap?
18-minute gap.
The memory comes back in the Watergate days. But seriously, because you say the IRS didn't, but then all these missing emails, honestly.
It looks suspicious. A lot of people will say that.
Didn't?
It does look suspicious, but I just know that the first allegations that they had been specially picking out right-wing groups was not correct. I have to wait and see what the evidence brings about. What did the IRS know, and when did they knew it? And saying that and paraphrasing Howard Baker, we should to one of the great statesmen ever to come from Tennessee, Howard Baker, who passed yesterday.
Indeed.
He knew how to work across the aisles, bring about bipartisan legislation, a conciliator, a great legislator.
Maybe Congress could honor him in that way. That would be
They definitely
awesome.
should. They definitely should. Hopefully the Republican Party today is big enough to hold a Howard Baker.
You're right about that. All right, Congressman, thanks so much for your time.
You always slip it in.
We appreciate it. Always interesting, for sure.
All right.